This is my first project in Unreal Engine 4, and it's a game called Marble Run, where you try to get the marble to the end of the maze, and it times how fast you can do it. The creation of this whole mini game was documented through short videos that I posted on my social media accounts. This video, I've compiled every single video that I made for this game, and I hope you enjoy it and learn something new. The first few sections go through how to download the software and the online courses I've been taking on how to learn how to develop this game. So make sure to follow those if you're interested in starting game development on your own. All right, let's get into it.
Hey guys, today is our first game dev tip, and I thought we'd go over what the heck Unreal Engine is and where you can download it. It's also totally free to use. It's located in the same launcher that you can play games like Fortnite, just the general Epic Games launcher. And in the launcher, there's a little tab that's called Unreal Engine. You can click on that, and it'll bring you to the Unreal splash page. If you want to download the engine, you come over here to the Library tab, and you press this plus sign. And then you can select the engine version you want to install from this drop down. You can either select the newest version, or they also have Unreal 5 available if you want to see what the cutting edge tech new games will have in the next few years. And then that's it. You press install and you can launch the engine, create a new project that you can play around in. In the next tip videos I post, they'll all be inside Unreal, and I will begin to show you how game developers actually make games with it. See you next time. Hello everyone! In future videos, I will be posting a ton of random Unreal Engine game development tips. The first of these tips are coming from a set of online courses by GameDev.tv, and they're hosted on a site called Udemy. So since I'm starting these soon, I wanted to show you guys how to find the courses I'll be going through if you wanted to follow along with me as we all learn more about game dev. There are two main courses I will be starting with. One is using Unreal Engine with C++ programming, and the other is only using the tools that Unreal software provides, and those things are called blueprints. We'll be making 3 games in this course: Marble Run, Crystal Cavern, and Mars Marine, and I will frequently show progress on them through this video series. Once those demo games are done, I'll be moving on to some other courses about character skill systems and UIs, but more to come on those when we get there. And we'll be getting into some really fun stuff soon, so make sure to keep an eye on the channel for updates. I'll see you next time. Hello guys, today is our first jump into Unreal Engine, and I want to show you what the software looks like and a little bit on how you create a game level. What you see here is a blank project with starter content placed in it. You can move freely around this level by using typical FPS controls, and it plays very similarly to what you would see in something like Minecraft in creative mode. So if you go in here and click on any object, you can move it around, you can spin it, and you can also scale it to make it a little bit bigger. The method of level design in this software is very similar to what you would see in a ton of games that have map creation. So that was just a little bit about editing an object. Next video, we will build a little room for our chairs. Hello, in this video I'm going to show off copying simple objects like the floor and how to use it to create a small room. You can make a copy by holding Alt and using any of the draggers on the object. Let's start by pulling out a copy of this floor and move it up, and then scoot it over a little bit. Let's make another wall, pull it over there. Let's take the floor and pull it up to be a ceiling. And then let's take that ceiling, copy it, and move it down to make a back wall. And just like that, we made a quick little room. So you can see how easy it is to make a level just using the tools built in Unreal. And that's it for this video. If you haven't already, you can check my previous video to download the software and start building some of these levels on your own. I'll see you next time. Hey guys, today we're going to look at how you would spawn into a level. In Unreal Engine, we use something that's called a player start actor, and that's this little icon here. It'll tell the game where to spawn when we hit play. So let's hit play. We'll go into our level, and you can see we spawned exactly where that is. Let's back out, and you can move this player start location. So let's move it. So let's move it over here to the corner next to this table. And if you can see, this blue arrow is where we will be facing. So let's spin that around so we're actually looking inside the level. And then let's hit play again. and you'll see we spawned over here this time. So that's how a player start actor is used to spawn players into a level in Unreal Engine. And I'll see you next video for another Game Dev Insight. Hey everyone, today we're going to get into more of the programming side of game dev by looking at our first blueprint. Let's open up the level blueprint. So here it is. It's essentially a flowchart that starts from one node and goes through steps sequentially until it's done. The begin play event is going to be our starting point. So let's drag a new node out. It's going to be a print string. Let's change our text to be what's up gamers. And in the drop down options, let's change the duration to 30 seconds. So let's press compile. Let's go over to our level and press play. And then at the top left of the screen, you can see our message. So that's it for this video. Next time we will get into a little bit more depth with this blueprint, and I'll see you next time. Hello, hello. Today we're going to look at how we can execute a sequence in our level blueprint. So let's start by adding a print string. The string is going to say Bulwark creative, and the duration is going to be 2 seconds. We will add another node, and it'll be a delay node. The duration will be also 2 seconds. And then we can add another node after this, which will be another print string. And the text will say, is pretty neat. And we'll keep the duration at 2 seconds. So let's compile and go over and press play. So for 2 seconds it says Bulwark creative, and then immediately goes to is pretty neat and goes away. So that's a little taste of how a sequence of nodes is executed in a blueprint, and I'll see you next time. Hey guys, today's video is pretty simple. We're going to add a keyboard key as an input in an Unreal Engine blueprint. To do this, we'll start in our level blueprint, and clicking the right mouse will bring up a list of all the actions we can do. Let's search W key and select that. And now we can choose whatever we want to happen when we either press the key or release the key. And let's add something on pressed. We'll do another print string. And let's have it say going forward, baby. And now once that's in there, let's compile and we can play our level. And every time I press the W key, it'll send our message. So that's it. Next video, we will do something a little bit more than just printing that to the screen. See ya. Hey, today let's do something a little bit more fun with a keyboard input. Here's our W key input from last video, but we also want to create a reference to the floor from our level. To do this, we go over to the level, select the floor, then go back to the blueprint and right click. Now an option pops up to create a reference to the selected component, which is our floor. Once that reference is in, we can drag off the node to create a function just like print string, but instead this time we will choose add actor world rotation, which means rotate the selected object. Let's connect it to our W key so it rotates when we press W, and change the value so it rotates 5 units in the Y direction. With that set up, let's compile and play the game. And now when we press the W key, the whole floor rotates. And that's it. In the next video, we'll make the floor move in all the other directions. Bye. Hello there. So I went and expanded what we did in the previous video, where I copied what we did with the W key and added it to the D, A, W, and S keys so that we can have full control over our floor. So if we press W, the floor will essentially go up a little bit. If we press S, it'll go down. If we press A, it'll go to the left, and then if we press D, it'll go to the right. So let's see that in action. We'll press play here, and so W, so we'll go up, S will go down, D a little bit to the right, and A a little bit to the left. So this will come in handy in the next couple videos where we actually start building in physics into our game here. That will consist of us trying to get a marble to move through a maze. So I'll see you next time.
Hey guys, so today I wanted to show you just how to add objects into a level. This is a pretty simple one. So over here, I just have a bunch of shapes set up from the starter content. Let's pull some of these in. So this is a little wedge that looks like a half pipe. Let's pull in another one, a tube. We can move it around, and what we will actually be using in our level, this sphere or a marble. These are a few just things that we can add in here. Very simple. You can also do this with any objects that you make in a 3D modeling program like Blender. They would show up in whatever folder you designate. You just drag them in. All right, that's it for this video. I'll see you next time. Hey, so today I'm going to show you guys how to add a material skin essentially to an object. So just like previously with the objects, I have a starter content folder with all of these materials. This is included in Unreal. You can also download these from a million different places online. Um, and all you really do is you can just hold which one you want. Let's get this rainbow colored one, drag it over to the object, and boom, just like that, it'll add it. So now our sphere here, or our marble, has all these random colors. I think there's a better one down here, this space ball. Let's drag that over, put that one on, and oh yeah. Let's use that one for our game. And so you can do that with all of these other shapes too. Let's drag this wood one over to the ramp and this ocean over to the cylinder. And then that's it for this video. I'll see you next time. Hey, good afternoon. So today in our video, we're gonna do something called simulating gravity, where we just add gravity to an object. If we press play right now, we're zoomed out quite a bit. Let's move back over here. You see that our objects here are still just floating in space. To make sure that they actually have gravity, what we're gonna do is you click the object, go down to the details pane, and it's as simple as checking a check mark, simulate physics. So now since down is properly down, when we play the game, the ball will fall, but we didn't do it to the ramp or the cylinder. So those will stay there, and you saw that ball fall over, and these other objects are still here. So let's do it on all of them. Simulate, press play, and then they all fall down. So that'll come in handy since we're making a maze. We need that ball to be able to fall through, and we will see that in action very soon. I'll see you next time. Hey everyone. So using the keyboard to move our floor around is a little awkward, so let's start using the mouse instead. To switch over to the mouse, let's go back to our blueprint here. We will copy these same two things, the floor and the move rotation, or add actor world rotation. Instead of adding a key, we're actually going to add the mouse X input event. So this is looking at you moving the mouse to the left or the right instead of pressing keys. Let's combine that or execute that with the function. And then let's play and see what happens here. Yeah, that's not what we want. So the reason it's doing that is we actually left that 5 into the rotation, so it's moving 5 units every frame. But let's fix that next video. I'll see you then. Hey guys, so to fix our very, very fast spinning floor, what we're gonna do is we will remove this 5 that we left in here to the add world rotation. Let's just check quick, see if that fixed it. Yep, it did. It is not currently doing anything with the mouse now. So let's go in, and what we actually have to do is we have to separate this out so we get the roll, pitch, and yaw separately. And then let's tie the value to the yaw there. And so now it'll be taking our mouse value, the left and the right value, and it'll plug it into the yaw every frame. So let's give that a go. Press play, and yep, there we go. So when I move my mouse to the left and the right, we get a nice smooth movement there. And that's great. So we'll do that to the y-axis to move up and down next video. See you then. Hey guys, so we are going to add in our mouse Y or axis right now. So we're just going to copy and paste that guy over. Let's pull in the mouse Y event instead of X this time. And we'll just do the same exact thing that we did for X, except we are going to tie it to the pitch instead. So that's rotating on the Y axis. And there we go. So now I can move left, right, up, and down. This is actually backwards for me. So I'm going to speed this up real quick while I do this. What I'm doing is I'm just adding a multiplication for the float to multiply our value by -1. So that'll just flip the axis around. Okay, so now I'm going to move up, move down, left, right. Good. This feels better to play. We move around a little bit, so we need to lock the axes in. But we will do that next video. I'll see you then. Let's lock in the floor's janky movement so it doesn't rotate when we move the mouse in a circle. The reason it's doing this is because we are constantly adding the mouse values to the rotation. To properly do it, we should instead grab the current rotation value and then add the mouse value. Okay, now I just added the set actor rotation function, and then all we gotta do is pull our added values into here. And let's see how that works. Perfect. So now I'm moving my mouse in a circle and we are just staying in the same shape and movement of our floor. So next time when you go a little bit too far out of boundaries, we start doing some crazy stuff. So let's fix that later. Okay, so today we're gonna fix this. This happens when we are trying to essentially move the floor too far in one direction. So we need to set some limits on it. To set our limits, we're going to use something called a clamp and add that clamp to our floats so we are giving it a minimum and maximum range. I'm going to move these over to give us space, and we'll break these links. Then once we have our two clamps, we're going to put our range. So I want my range to be -45 degrees to 45 degrees, and then reattach those to the set actor rotation, and let's give it a shot. All right, so this works out well. I'm still moving the mouse, but it locks in there and up and down and it locks in. So we're not getting that janky shuddering effect anymore. It just looks like a floor moving around. Let's talk about BSP brushes. In the modes tab and in the place tab, we have a few options here of different geometry we can add to our level. If we go over to the geometry section, we have a bunch of brushes called BSP brushes. So let's talk about those a little bit. What a BSP brush is essentially an easy way for you to make a level without committing to design time of actually making structures and everything in Blender, whatever 3D modeling program you use as a static mesh. So it's a very quick way to make a mock-up level design that you would later turn into a static mesh. All right, so let's use some BSP brushes to make the maze that will be in our marble game. Okay, now we're going to add a subtract box, which does what you think it would. Anything inside this box, it'll actually subtract that material. And this will be where we finish our level at. And there we go, there's our maze. So we've got this sweet maze, but it is still a BSP brush created maze. So what we want to do is turn it into a static mesh. We need to make it into a static mesh because otherwise we won't be able to have collision and physics and any of the other good stuff. The BSP brushes are purely just for prototyping. So to turn it into a mesh, we're just going to select all of our BSP created shapes. We're going to go into the brush settings. There's an advanced drop-down menu here and an option called create static mesh. Once we do that, we're gonna create our maze. We'll do maze A and create mesh, and then boom, we've got the mesh, and now Unreal knows that it's an actual solid structure. Now we can start putting collision and other stuff on there that we'll do next time. So we've got our static mesh maze here, and now what we want to do is I can't control this anymore when we press play because we replaced that reference. So we're gonna go back into the blueprint editor itself, and you can see that these blue square nodes that we had that used to say floor are unknown because I deleted the floor. So what we're just gonna do is replace these exactly the same way that we did the floor. Then over here on our game screen, we're gonna wanna make sure that this is movable again so it can be moved via the blueprints. And there we go. So now we can move this maze like we were moving the floor before. Let's go over a very, very brief overview of collision and how we're gonna add it to our maze. Let's open up the static mesh window. To add collision, we can come up here to collision and add box simplified collision. And you see this green outline? That is now our collision on the object. There's one problem with it though. This box is truly just a box. So let's keep that on there and let's play the game and see what happens. So now the ball's kind of floating, it looks like, but actually it is just colliding with our maze. But since it's just a simple box, it doesn't know where the walls are, so we can just fly all the way around here. We're essentially just on top of the maze. Next time, let's add a little bit more complexity so the ball will actually interact with the walls. Right now, you can't actually navigate through our maze because you collide on the top of it before hitting the walls. To fix that, we're going to use something other than the box simple collision. We're instead going to go over to the details panel, down to the collision section, and collision complexity, we're going to change that from project default to use complex collision as simple. So what this does is it looks at the object and says, hey, I see a bunch of walls here. I'm going to use those as the collision instead of just a big box around the whole thing in general. This isn't the best way to do this. Usually you'd want to use a 3D modeling program to actually create the collision. So playing again, we can see that the ball actually drops down and it interacts with the walls in our maze. So we're almost there. This is pretty much a game. We'll be adding some more and polishing up the movement a little bit soon. See ya. Now that our maze is complete, we need to add a trigger to tell the game that we finished the maze and got through the hole. To do that, we're going to use something called a box trigger. A box trigger is an object that we can pull in just like any other object from the modes panel. What a box trigger does is it can generate just an event whenever something overlaps it, or rather, whenever our ball comes inside of this box, we can tell the game to do something. In this case, we're going to tell the game that we won. I'm going to position this box trigger just below the hole so it only goes off when the ball goes through the hole and doesn't just bounce around it. Alright, there we go. So now that the box trigger is in place, we're going to use some blueprints in a later video to tell the game that the ball went through the maze and made it to the end. See you next time. So we just placed our box trigger, but if we actually go and play our game, you'll notice when I move that the box trigger does not move along with it. To fix this, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna attach the trigger to the maze so it'll move along with it. This is actually a very easy process. We'll go down to our world outliner. We'll find our trigger box, which is down here, and we'll drag it over to our maze, and it'll say attach trigger box to maze A, and that's it. So now when we play again and move our maze, that box will move with it. So there we go. Now we'll go program the trigger box to actually do something. All right, let's add an event to our box trigger. So let's make sure it's selected and move over to the level blueprint. And what we're gonna add is an event on the collision section, and it's gonna be called add-on actor begin overlap. What this means is this is just our function for determining if a specific actor overlaps our trigger box. So adding this function in lets us do other stuff when that condition is true. Just for now, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna have this execute a print string, which will give us a little message in the window, and it says, you have won. Okay, so that's gonna be the end of the video. Next video, we will play the game and see if the you won text pops up. I'll see you next time. All right, let's play our game and see if the you won text pops up that we added last video. Before we start here, we're gonna wanna click the marble, and under the details pane, we need to check generate overlap events in the collision section. Checking that makes sure that the game is actually looking for things that the ball's gonna overlap with, specifically our trigger box. So with that enabled, let's play the game. And there we go, we won and the message pops up. We've just about finished the game. We're gonna add a few more features after this video, and then we'll be moving on to our next game. I'll see you then. So I'm gonna add a feature today that will give us the time that it took to complete our maze. How we do that is using a function called getGameTime in seconds. And this does exactly what you think it would. When we press play, it'll return how many seconds it took to get to this event. It's going to be make it through our maze. So let's tie this into our print string, and then that should be it. So let's play the maze real quick and see if we get that message. There we go. So we beat the maze in about 16 seconds. That looks a little ugly, but next video we're gonna clean that number up a little bit and add a win message. I'll see you then. All right, so now when we beat our game, we have a message that pops up that says how many seconds it took to beat it. What we're gonna do here is clean up the text a little bit and add in a message when we win. And we're gonna add something called toText from our float. So this will just convert our float into a text value. The benefit here is we can choose how many digits we want it to be. Then we want our text to say something other than just the seconds itself. So what we're gonna do is add an append, and this will combine all our messages into one. So then we can connect that to our string function here, and let's beat the game again and see what it says. Awesome, there's our message. We'll add a few more features next video. See you then. So now that we have our win screen, we're gonna wanna reset the level and play again so we can try and get a faster time. To do that, we're just gonna add a delay after our print string here. And let's have that delay be 3 seconds. And then we're gonna add in another node that's just called open level. And open level does exactly what it says it will. It opens a level. We're gonna set that to level 1, which is the title of our level. And that's it, very easy. Compile and let's play our game. I cheated and moved the ball a little bit down, just so this is a bit faster. We'll finish, beat the game in 5 seconds, and then 3 seconds later, we restart again. And that's it. Now we can speed run our game and get posted on the speedrun leaderboards. I'm kidding, that's not a thing. I'll see you next time. Our game is practically complete. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add a welcome screen for the player when they first start the game. To do that, we're gonna attach to our begin play. We're just gonna do a print string, and that print string is gonna say, "Welcome to Marble Run, better get zooming." Now let's play our game, and there we go. It says our message. That was a little quick, so let's go back. We'll change the advanced options here. So let's choose a different text color. We'll do green, and let's change the duration to like 5 seconds. All right, good. Let's do some more polishing next time. See you then. All right, so we have a lot of code in our level blueprint here, and we don't have anything really telling us what it does. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do something called commenting. And so what this is it'll group some of these sections together, and then we can add a little note on what it's doing. And this is just to clean it up a little bit. So to add a comment, what you do is you select everything you want grouped up, you press C, and then we can change the title here. So this is our welcome message. And we're gonna change the color here to green. Our next section is all of our mouse input movements. And then our last section is completing the game and that timer that we put in. Now I grouped those together a little bit, and that looks way nicer and a little bit easier to see what we're doing in the game. We'll do some more polish next time. So we have a bug right now that when we beat our game, if we keep moving the maze when the ball goes through the hole here, we actually get the message that we won a bunch of times. And to fix that, what we're gonna do is we will make our win condition trigger only once. It's a simple node that we'll add for this, and it's called do once. And the function of that node is exactly what you'd expect. It only triggers this overlap event once. So now let's try again to move around a bunch when we're through the hole. And you can see we only get the message one time. All right, cool. So more bug squishing coming up. See ya. Another bug fix for Marble Run. Right now, the ball freaks out if we move the maze around real fast. So there's 2 things we're gonna do to fix that. So the first one is our collision settings for the ball. So we'll select the ball and go down to collision. And in the advanced options for collision, we have an option that says use CCD. CCD is a continuous collision detection. It's essentially always checking to see if the ball should be touching something. The second thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna clamp our mouse values so that when you move the mouse around really, really fast, it doesn't move the maze that fast. Okay, so I clamped our mouse axes to -1 and 1. And with those in place, let's try our game again and see if it bugs out when we move too fast. Looks pretty good. So we'll end it there. See you next time. The last bit of polish we're gonna do for this game is we want to add a button where you can restart the level. To do that, we're gonna add another section. and we're gonna call the R key, and we'll have it whenever you press the R key, we want you to open a level, and the level will be our current level, level 1. And it's as easy as that. So let's tidy this up as well, get a comment in there. And we want to add some instructions in our welcome message to tell the player that they can press the R key if they want to restart. Now let's test that out. Great, every time I press R, we restart the level. We've got one last thing to add before we package our game and it's ready to play. Once the game is packaged, we won't have a way to stop playing the game other than Alt F4, which is a little clumsy. So instead, we're going to use the escape key. We will bind it to the function called quit game, and it's as simple as that. So now when we press escape, it'll quit the game. All right, we'll just comment that to make it look good. And now we're ready to package the game. We'll do that next time. See you then. Unreal Engine makes it really easy to package your game so that you can play it outside of the editor. To do that, they have a whole slew of options in the file dropdown under package project. And what we're gonna do is when we package it, we're gonna do Windows and a Windows 64-bit. That's the machine I'm running, so that's the only way I can build this game right now. We also want to double check that our build configuration is for development and not shipping. That's because we have a few functions that are only available in the development option, namely our print strings. They say development only at the bottom. We'll go over some other settings that we need to do before we package the game in the next video. See you then. Before we package, we want to make sure a few project settings are correct. So let's open those settings up. They're under Edit and then Project Settings. The first thing we're going to change is the name, and that should be Marble Run. The second thing is going to be in our Maps and Modes option, and we're just going to double check that it starts on the correct level, which is level 1. And the last thing we're going to check is under the Packaging option, and it's in the Advanced Settings for Packaging. And the setting we're going to enable is Cook Only Maps. This means that it's only going to save the maps that we're actually using. It won't save the maps that we don't have set up. With that enabled, we want to tell the editor which map to include, and that's just our level 1 map. Then we're ready to go. Next video, we'll package the game and try to run it. See you then. Today we're going to package the game and try to play it. Now let's go to the Windows 64-bit build and package this game. We're going to save it in a Marble Run folder. Alright, now that that's done, let's try to play the game outside of the editor. There it is, it launched. Working as intended. Now we can hit the escape key and exit the game. I've got something fun planned for next video. I'll see you then. Hello, we have some guests today. You kitties. The Marble Run's done. We're gonna do something fun today. I'm just gonna play the game. Here we go, let's give it a try. All right, better get zooming. It's kind of got like a bouncy ball. Oh boy. Oh, that was very close. The trick here is we gotta get as much momentum around that curve as possible. No. Oh, geez. I almost flew off. All right, let's try some sneaky tactics now. Let's see if I can just like jump over somehow. This mouse velocity. Oh! Go. We'll finish anyways. Let's go. There it is, 7.6. I definitely cheated though. We might come back to Marble Run a little bit later, maybe polish it up a bit. I'll see you later. Marble Run is complete. Woo! So now what are we gonna do? Well, I'm gonna keep going with the GameDev.tv course. Big shout out to them. It's the course I've been following this whole time and I've been linking it in descriptions and stuff. If you haven't yet, go check out their site. It's a great place for devs of any experience, beginner like myself, or all the way to advanced. So what's next? Well, we're gonna keep going with that course, and we'll be starting our new game, Crystal Cavern. Crystal Cavern is a little similar to Marble Run in the fact that you are a small little marble or ball, and we're gonna traverse through a level, kind of a maze, kind of more obstacle based, trying to collect crystals, and once we collect all the crystals in a level, we win. So you will see a lot more of that soon. The project will be starting in a couple days. See you then.